Hello guys, this is Dr. Lior Bar-El, and today we're going to do some unboxings. So as I told you guys, my computer after 8 years broke. My second computer, my first computer is still working, thank God. So I needed to build a second computer, and I wanted to build it better than the first one. So what happened is, a lot of you guys actually wrote to me this about a couple months back, that you wanted me to do a video about computer parts. Certain parts, for example, to compare certain CPUs to the other and all of that stuff, and we're going to get into all of that stuff. But in the meantime, I just went ahead and bought some, and I'm going to be doing some unboxing and reviews. Now, this computer that I'm building, I built for many clients, and I trust in what I do, because as you can see, even my second computer was overclocked to 4.2 gigahertz and still was perfectly run. It ran perfectly, up to a certain point where the motherboard, something happened, I still don't know what, but gave out. And because of that, I just said, screw it, I'm just going to build a new one. So I'm going to do it right here. So the first one we're going to review right here is the AMD Ryzen. Which is 1800X. It's part 7, 1800X. Now, this thing has a base, right, of 3.6 gigahertz, right, as they say over here, 3.6 gigahertz base, but it has a precision boost of 4 gigahertz. Now, what I usually do, I'm going to try to get this baby on a liquid cooler, and I'm going to get into all of that, to go into about 5 gigahertz territory, okay? It is very, very possible to do that. It just, it depends on how you're doing it, what you're using, and all of that. Okay, so I am going to try to go up to the 5 gigahertz, but I think I'm going to go into stable about 4.2 gigahertz to 4.4 gigahertz to run it and just be on the safe side. But I believe I can run it very well on that. So let's just open this right here. And now I'm going to compare it also to the Intel, because my first PC, my PC1, as I call it, or PCA, is an Intel processor. So as you can see, I'm not a fanboy. I love both processors a lot, and I'm going to explain to you the whole thing behind it. So it comes like this, just an empty box here, with a little cover here, whatever. And this is what it comes with right here, the sticker, which I love to put on my units that I sell, and the CPU itself, the brain of it all. So we're going to take that baby right out. Okay. Wow, this is beautiful. All right. So you have the information right here, the booklet. And now we're going to go into this. Now, this is the thing with this, okay? So what happened was, since the Pentium days, the Pentium 1 came out, Pentium 2 came out, then they had the Cyrex chip, which sucked. And then finally AMD released an amazing, amazing chip to go head-to-head with the Intel processors. Now, the thing that's very positive throughout AMD's life is that in the CPUs, the CPUs run much cooler than an Intel processor. And anybody who owns both, like myself, could tell you that. Now, I am going to tell you that these CPUs here, the new Intels and this AMD processor right here, they don't come with a cooler for a reason, for a stock cooler, because they're not meant to be run by stock coolers. Now, I know some of you guys are going to say, that's ridiculous. I run it with a stock cooler. But you got to understand, if you do, you can't overclock. These CPUs are not worth to buy unless you have the intention to overclock them. They're meant to be overclocked. And in order to overclock, especially an Intel processor, you're gonna want to have a liquid cooler, and definitely check at the liquid cooler that I recommended, which is the H100i version 1 or 2, but the 2, as I told you in the previous episode, that it has faulty screws, and it's not the brand that I like, so I went with the ultimate developer, because they have 2 developers that do it for him. So I went with the ultimate one, which is the 110i, but it's a biggin. Now, again, you need to be knowledgeable in terms of how to why you want to buy this. Okay, now if you don't want to overclock, stick to your regular CPU. There's no reason for you to to upgrade unless you have the intention to overclock it. If you overclock it, you need a liquid cooler. A good liquid cooler is the ones I recommended right there. That's ones that I use. As always, I give you guys honest reviews. I wouldn't lie, and I showed you the flaws of the H100i version 2. I showed you the flaws, and that's why I returned it, and thankfully got this one. Now, so this one runs much cooler all the time. It runs much cooler than the Intel. Now, what happened is during the Intel wars, you had a time where AMD was doing better and a time where Intel was running better, and so on and so forth. But for overclocking, I'm going to tell you, Intel usually has a lot of, it's just more overclock friendly, I think, than the AMD. But I got to tell you, this AMD processor right here is up to par. They're running exactly the same. I don't see any difference from the computers I built with this chip, with the CPU for my clients, and they run exactly toe to toe with Intel. So I would say that you can, due to its cooling, that it runs on a cooler, that it runs cooler than Intel, as always, but you always had the issues with overclocking. You could somehow go to a certain level. This one actually goes exactly the same as Intel. So I would say this is a very good competitor, and it costs a crap ton cheaper than Intel by a crap ton. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. Now, the thing is, with the AMD processors, you also are going to need a liquid cooler, but you can push it more. I have pushed this chip on my client's computer to 5 gigahertz and had 0 issues with it, okay? And I ran it comfortably at 4.7 for him, okay? That's what he wanted. I don't really like doing that. I like to go to 4.4. You know, if I need it, I'll go further, whatever. But that's, you know, I think I'm going to go to 4.4, but I think I'm going to take it to 5 gigahertz just to see how it runs. But again, it's very important that you guys understand. And now the negative of AMD processors is when you're gonna get some DDR4. Okay, like right here, we're gonna be doing a review on this one right here that I just got. Okay, so this is this runs at DDR4 speeds. I'm just trying to look here. Oh, okay, so this thing has a lifetime warranty. We're gonna go into all of that in the whole thing. But that's what I'm saying. So they don't process it correctly, the AMD boards right now, okay? This is the 3200, okay? So the 3200 never runs at 3200 on an AMD motherboard for some odd stinking reason. So the first thing you have to do, now a lot of motherboards are fixing it, but just have that in mind. So when you get a motherboard for the AMD, the first thing you should do is update the BIOS immediately, okay? This is a big problem that AMD has had. Okay, that they're not running at 3200, the memory. So it is something to take into account before deciding to go the AMD route. But, you know, the motherboard I'm going to be reviewing for you guys, the Crosshair Hero, you guys are going to see what it's like, and you guys are going to be blown away. Again, you still have to upgrade the BIOS on that one. But that is the thing. So you got to have that in mind. Yes, it is cheaper, a lot cheaper than Intel. Yes, it runs exactly the same. Yes, you're going to get the best overclocking opportunity in this one compared to all the other AMDs I worked with. But there is some drawbacks, and the drawbacks is if you got a motherboard that isn't, let's say, the Crosshair, for any motherboard that has that update, you are screwed when you get a 3200 DDR4 RAM, because it's not going to run at 3200 RAM. So unless you buy one of these certified boards that I'm certifying here, I don't recommend you stick to AMD or upgrade just yet. This is the worst time to actually to build a gaming computer. It is the worst time because graphics cards are insanely expensive. That's why I'm sticking to my old graphics card here, which runs beautifully. I still run 4K games at 60 frames to 120 frames, a second. So I have no issue with that. I'm not going to be in a hurry to upgrade right now, but it is if you're just building it from scratch, it is the worst time to build a gaming PC. I'm telling you, y'all, especially with memory right now, because they're using them on phones and stuff. DDR4 is like double to triple the price of what it normally is. So that is some issues that people got to think about before upgrading. I don't think now is the right time, but if you do, definitely stick to the I don't know how to pronounce this. The Ryzen, okay, AMD processor, 1800. I know some of you guys are going to say, well, you know, the lower end models of this runs the same. I can guarantee you that it doesn't. In overclocking performances, when I did it for my clients, it went up to about 4 gigahertz. So you can't really notice a difference between 4 and 4.4 when you're doing like regular crap. But when you're doing multitasking and stuff like I do, for example, I have DaVinci Resolve for all you guys that are colorists and stuff, for you know, working with movies and things like that. I like having my editing software open, my Adobe After Effects open, and my DaVinci Resolve open at the same time, and I just work and multitask. And really, I mean, I am the poster child for testing CPUs, memory, graphics cards, all of that crap. I'm the poster child for that. I'm the one-stop shop. All my friends ask me, what do I think of this and that? Because I do non-stop multitasking on my computer. This is why I can guarantee you this thing is a great, great chip. Intel tends to deal a lot. Now they have, I think, in 16 or 18, 19 core, whatever. So they have that, but it's extremely expensive, guys. So to stick to something like this, which is an 8 core, but it runs freaking beautifully. It runs up to par, exactly the same like the Intel processors. I would highly recommend this. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. I love my Intel. I love my AMD. But, you know, for cheaper, definitely go with this. Let me know what you guys think down below. If I left anything out, if you think you know, Intel, you know, I don't want to hear fanboys. I want to hear like actual facts here for the people, because my channel is all about honesty. So I like to just get it out there. But it's just amazing that we're finally there where you can get even cheaper cheaper CPUs and you know, go at the same rate as Intel. I mean, I'm shocked. I always used to be Intel, not fanboy, but I really trusted them. So always it was Intel. Then I went into the Phenom, into the AMD territory, and I started looking, and I always have 2 computers, so if one goes bad, the other one's good. So I always had an Intel and an AMD, and I love them both. So anyways, let me know what you guys think down below. Let me just take it out so you guys can see it. If you guys want to help me out, definitely like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and hit that bell button, and let me know what you, you know, and because a lot of videos are going to be coming out as usual. It's a really beautiful, beautiful CPU chip. I really like it. Anyways, let me know what you think. Have a good one, y'all. Take care. Bye.